Oh my god, why do I sound so weird in my head? I feel like, oh god, have I spoken today? Oh my god. Hello! How are you guys? Maybe I have allergies. Oh my gosh, it must be the allergies. Is chat an Ulu language? It could be. Oh yeah, it is! You had lifeguard training today! Yes, chat is in, it's kitty language because we're reading kitties today. So chat is in Ulu. You had lifeguard training today. That's so cool. How was it? How did it go? I really do sound weird. Well, these what it is. Good, Ulu. How are you? Good. I'm allergy, but I'll overcome it. Recently, my allergies have been like itchy eyes, and my throat's been itchy, and now my nose is kind of stuffed up. The only like problematic thing in all of that is my throat being itchy because it hurts when I speak sometimes, or it just changes how my tone sounds. So I'll be a little weird for streaming, which is the main thing I do. I forgot woo woo. Whoa whoa. Whoa 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 whoa. Uh-oh. I touched my Stream Deck and now it's like, Windows doesn't recognize this actually. I yap so much my throat hurts all the time. I wish that were me. That's like the complete opposite problem that I had when I first started streaming, because I never spoke. Like, if there wasn't a reason for me to speak, then I wouldn't. So when I started streaming and I was yapping a lot, my throat would start get coated with like my spit, because it was like, it hadn't been used in so long. So it was like, what's happening? You should drink like, oh, there's this brand called One Shot. Oh my god, that reminds me. Guys, I got an email. I forgot all about it. I got an email that I'm now an official Neopet affiliate. One Shot! Hi, Silver, not the game, One Shot. I'm officially a Neopets, a Neopets affiliate, and I completely forgot. I pinned it so that I wouldn't forget, and yet I did forget. You love Neopets? Heck yeah. Log in, let's see. Oh my god, guys. So cool. Active. Custom affiliate link. Honestly, I don't know how this is gonna work. Oh my god, I have a coupon code! Guys, you can use my coupon code to buy things on Neopets. Can you believe that? Guide. Oh no. Why does my throat have to be stinky? On the day I'm supposed to be reading. Categories. Wow. Okay, I'll look at this later. You love Neopets. I haven't played Neopets. I logged on Neopets. One, because I realized that there was an affiliate program, and then two, because I needed to get a Psy Bunny. So I got 2 Psy Bunnies because it was the Psy Bunny day, and I needed to get a Psy Bunny. Important. It was important. How are you guys today? How are you feeling? I'm feeling good. Okay. I'm excited to finally read Warrior Cats again. I've been missing it. You're feeling okay for once? Good. I'm glad. No existential crisis for you today. You're good. I chatted with your mates. Nice. Nice. I have a Powerade for my water today. But it's gonna run out, so when it runs out, I'm gonna leave, and then I'm gonna get another... Wait, should I get... No, I'll get an iced tea. Once I'm finished the Powerade, I'll get an iced tea. And then maybe I'll bring my Dunkaroo icing tub and eat some of that. Delicious. Scrumptious. You didn't win any Deltarune giveaway? Aw. Oh yeah, Deltarune. How's Deltarune? The tub of Dunkaroo icing. Is anyone playing Deltarune? Are you enjoying it? If you are, I don't actually know if there are very many. Yo! You do? Nice! I need to sneeze. Hi! I'll probably stay out of Twitter to avoid spoilers and not play it until I get some money. Yeah. Luckily, I don't understand anything that's happening, so I'm free. That means I don't have to worry. Snickers bar? Are you eating a Snickers bar? Snickers bar. Oh, wait, this is so cute. Guys, look at this. I can't really show you. Hound! Hound! What do you mean encased? Hello! How are you? How are you? You're a mech pilot? Pilot? Oh my god, what just happened? Everybody got thrown to the side violently. Oh. We're being raided! We are being raided. How was it? How was your stream? I hope that it's good and fun and wonderful. Hello, welcome in, everybody. Today, we're reading Warrior Cats. I'm getting distracted because I'm half browsing DGen for no reason. I don't know why. Should I reset my affiliate link once again for the 5th time and see if maybe they'll give me my money? It was fun. Definitely did not stream for an hour just to raid you. Cat, do you like horror? I think my chat likes horror. I am very scared of horror. I can't play chasing horror games. They're too scary to me. I get locked. I get, like, stuck because I refuse to move. You, like, saw the movie? Isn't that, like, gory? But I haven't played much. I a very specific kind of horror. I like psychological horror. I think that's a lot cooler, in my opinion. I played Call of Cthulhu. Call of Cthulhu was a horror game. Or like a thriller horror game. And I really like that game. That one didn't... It had like maybe one or two... No, it didn't. There was a hospital scene that was very terrifying. There was a scary hospital scene. I love you stream on Twitch. Thank you. There was like a hospital scene that I got really scared about. I can't remember. There must have been something that was chasing me. Oh, and there was like some roaming people at some point, but it was good. I liked it. At the very end, it got really trippy because I was crashing out. I was like half Cthulhu-y. Encased is very fun, very similar to early Fallout. Ooh, I have not played early Fallout or Encased. I like the series called Murder Drones. Murder Drones. I like horror. Horror comedy is good too. Horror comedy is good because then you get the little spook, but it's not like super spooky because it's always got that little trace of funny. A little funny. Alright guys, since my voice is probably not going to last very long today, I should start reading. So if you're new in chat, on Wednesdays, I read Warrior Cats, which is a series about cats. If you don't know the series, it's basically like cats in the wilderness, and they're doing stuff, and it's their story. Gotta go, be back. Thank you. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're not booked, you'll be hooked. We are on the we're on the 5th series, so we've read a lot of the Warrior Cat books. We're starting a new one today, so I don't have to summarize what happened in the previous book, really, because they do a pretty good job summarizing it as I'm reading. But like an overall summary of the series, this series so far is there's these group of mountain cats, and they all lived in the mountains together, and then food was getting really scarce, so everyone was kind of starving. So the leader of that group of cats had a dream about if you head in this specific direction, you'll find a land that can it can support you. So half the cats from the mountain group left. They left the mountain and they went on a journey, and they found the place. They found a place, a forest, a field. You think one of your family? It is very popular. They found a field, and it was their home, or they decided this is our home. Half of the cats from half of the cats that went on the journey decided they didn't want to live on moorland, which another half of the clan did want to live on moorland. So they split. The split group split up again, and half went into a forest and half stayed in the moorland, and tensions got really weird, and now the forest cats are like kind of messed up. The leader is pretty messed up. I found the ooh language chat funnier. It's really funny, isn't it? I love it. It's the special. Oh my god, I just realized. Sorry, YouTube. You guys have been stuck on my starting soon screen. Sorry. Or, I guess not YouTube, but like YouTube vertical. Yeah, so that's pretty much what's happening. The general overview of this particular series. There's tensions and stuff. So, yeah, I'm gonna begin reading. So it's Cat Sim, the book. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. We're cats. We are a cat. What was I gonna say? I haven't actually read for like two weeks. It's been maybe longer. 2 weeks. I haven't been able to read for one reason or another. So my reading is probably gonna be kind of poopy at first. So I'll warm up hopefully. If not, sorry. Feel free to like do chores or like homework while I'm reading, because it's more like a background kind of thing. Okay, prologue of the first battle. Water cascaded beyond the cave mouth. A gray tom watched it tumble past. It muffled the wind and softened the jagged peaks beyond, before disappearing far below into a rainbow of spray. Cats moved behind him, hardly more than shadows in the dappled light of their cavern. Longing misted the gray tom's eyes. Twisting back his ears, he listened to their murmuring. "Stones are in my nest," an elder croaked irritably. "Always stones in my nest." "I'll pick them out." Tiny paws skipped across the cave. "Come back, J-Frost," a Clean called anxiously. "Your pads are too soft for sharp stones." "They'll need to toughen up sooner or later," the elder muttered. "Thank you, YouTuber! Thank you, YouTube!" The gray tom turned, his sleek pelt prickling. "Try it, Misty Water." An old ginger tom was nosing a scrawny mouse towards a dull-pelted she-cat. Misty Water peered at the prey from her nest in the dimpled cavern floor. "Give it to a younger cat." She nodded towards J-Frost as he picked Gert from the elder's nest. "You must eat," Lion's roar persisted. "It's the last of the prey," the she-cat protested. "But the hunting party'll be back soon. They may have found more," a brown tom called from where he was sharing tongues with a white she-cat at the edge of the cavern. The gray cat pricked his ears happily. "Twisted Branch! Snow Hare!" He patted towards the two cats, rearing surprise as 4 kits charged across his path. "No rough play!" Their mother hurried after them. "Dewy Leaf," the gray tom blinked at the Queen. "You kidded safely. So glad." A purr rumbled in his throat for a moment, then fell quiet. If Moonshadow had stayed to see his kits, he might still be alive now. Murmured. "Oh, I see what's going on here." He's having a dream, and he's visiting the cavern of where they used to live. Greywing? A crackled mew made him turn. An ancient she-cat was padding from the shadows at the back of the cave. "Stone Teller!" Greywing hurried towards her. "You can see me?" "Of course." She stretched her muzzle to greet him. "We share the same dream." He touched his nose to hers, surprised at how cold it was. He'd lived on the moor for so many moons that he'd forgotten how the bone-chilling cold of the mountains never entirely loosened its grip. He glanced around the cave at his old tribe mates. "Can they see us?" "We can see out of the dream," Stone Teller told him. "They can't see in." Greywing blinked. "Am I here? Or dreaming in my nest on the moor?" "Both." Amusement lit up Stone Teller's eyes so that, for a moment, they looked as bright as a kit's. "For now, all that matters is here." "Oh. Hi, Aldo!" Thank you. Yeah, today's a good lurky day. Greywing stiffened as he saw the speckled gray pelt of a she-cat. Quiet, Rain. His chest tightened as he recognized his mother curled up in her sleeping hollow. Her soft eyes clouded as she followed the rippling light playing on the cave walls. Is she okay? He asked Stoneteller. She is fine, Stoneteller assured him. I wish I could tell her we survived the journey, that Clear Sky's well, Jaggedbeak too, despite his injury. She was so worried about us setting out, even though she told us it was the right thing to do. I'll let her know, Stoneteller promised. Greywing hardly heard her. Jaggedbeak and Clear Sky are well. It was only half true. That knowledge brought sorrow that stabbed like an icicle in his heart. Should he confess that Jaggedbeak was lame now, his hind leg crippled by a fall from a tree? I swore I'd protect him. And what about Clear Sky? Greywing's littermate might be safe, but he was so changed that Quiet Rain would hardly recognize her firstborn son. They had found the prey-rich land they had hoped for, but the cats had traveled through the mountains as one, had split into two groups when they reached the warm fields and the forest of their new home. Clear Sky had taken possession of the woods with a few of his old tribe mates. It pained Greywing to admit it, even to himself, but his brother had become brutal in guarding his share of the plentiful prey. Shame warmed Greywing's pelt. I failed them, and my mother. He felt Stoneteller trying to catch his eye, but he could not meet her gaze. It's not your fault, Greywing. She swung her muzzle towards her skinny tribe mates. Having little makes cats share. She touched her nose to his shoulder softly. Having much makes us greedy. How's true? Wait, which one is this? I've never read Warrior Cats before. Warrior Cats? It's the book right here next to me. This is the third book in the 5th series, so it's pretty down the road. Luckily, the 5th series itself is separated from the first 4, so it's a little different, but still. Greywing lifted his head sharply. Did she know what he was thinking? Clear Sky had once been his closest friend. Now they faced each other like rivals. I've lived long. Stoneteller tipped her head. I must warn you, greed is only the beginning. Her eyes darkened. There will be war. Greywing swallowed. Just Clear Sky? Don't be scared, Stoneteller soothed. Greywing lifted his head. I'm not scared. But his heart quickened. How can I fight my own brother? Remember the cats who love and trust you, Stoneteller murmured. You and Clear Sky may be divided, but you still have Jaggedbeak. Warmth filled Greywing's chest as he remembered his younger brother's courage and loyalty. And Turtletail? Stoneteller's eyes rounded with curiosity. How is she? She's happy. A loving purr choked Greywing's mew. He recognized the strength of her love at last. Stoneteller's eyes shone. I'm glad. Greywing shifted his paws. He could picture Turtletail now, sleeping beside him as he walked in his dreams. Pebbleheart, Owl Eyes, and Sparrowfur would be curled up at her belly. Still kits, but growing each day. Though they were the offspring of a kitty pet, he loved them as his own, and they loved him as much as Turtletail loved him. A pang jabbed his heart. He missed them all, even though he knew that his pelt was touching theirs, far away on the moor. How? His mind began to cloud with confusion. He tugged his thoughts back to the cave. For now, this is all that matters. He turned wistfully towards Stoneteller, but she was staring towards the waterfall, faint moonlight dappling her fur. She closed her eyes. Why have you come here? Did I choose this dream? Unease flickered beneath Greywing's pelt. Something had dawned him deep into memories. But what? Sudden guilt hollowed his belly. Since they had reached the moors, the tribe cats had seen so much death. Greywing stiffened as he instinctively thought of Fox. The rogue who had died at his own paws, killed accidentally as they'd fought over boundaries, brought death with us. You brought change, Stoneteller soothed. But must all change be born in blood? I only ever intended for my friends to be safe. We are all born in blood, Stoneteller murmured, but it marks the beginning of the end. Beginning? Was there more blood to come? Mist rolled through the cave entrance, swallowing the tribe, enfolding Stoneteller until he could no longer see her. Stoneteller! Thick haze swamped his cry. Don't go! Grief tightened his throat. He didn't want to lose his old friend again. I have faith in you, Greywing. Stoneteller's mew echoed through the shrouding haze. Always. Fog filled Greywing's eyes and clogged his throat. He struggled for breath as it reached into his chest, dizziness muddling his thoughts until the darkness claimed him. Messed up.
Hi, Kay. Welcome.
Okay, I have to remember that I can't read chat while I'm reading because then it interrupts the flow. So I'll read chat if I pause naturally on my own to make a comment and then between chapters. So I apologize if I don't respond immediately, but I gotta embrace the flow of things. Chapter 1. Clear Sky narrowed his eyes. Wait, we're in Clear Sky's POV? Oh, yo. Clear Sky's the twisted brother, by the way, context. Clear Sky narrowed his eyes. He could see Thunder's bright ginger pelt threading through the ferns. His son was climbing the slope to the moor, leaving the forest with Frost. Suppose that's what he must do. Clear Sky tried to ignore the regret gnawing in his belly. Above him, a soft breeze whispered through the leaves. Warm sunshine dappled his pelt. Behind him, the gnarled trunks of ancient trees creaked. Musty scents pooled at his paws where the leaf litter lay thick on the ground. This was his territory. If Thunder didn't want to live here, then he could leave. Frost had to leave, but Thunder had chosen to. Frost was wounded, an injury that was not healing and might grow bad. An infected cat couldn't stay in the camp. His weakness would burden the forest tribe. Didn't Thunder understand that? He thought, clawing the earth with frustration. Why did so few cats understand him? All he wanted to do was protect his cats in the forest. That was all he'd ever wanted to do since setting up home here. But his own son had called him a monster for caring. Well, he must leave then. I won't have my authority undermined. If Clear Sky kept telling himself this, maybe the pain in his belly would fade. Tribe. The word rang like a blackbird's cry in Clear Sky's mind. It was the first time he'd thought of the forest cats as a tribe. No! He pushed the thought away sharply. We're not a tribe. After moons of rich prey, the forest cats were sleeker and better fed than the poorest starvelings who had chosen to stay in the mountains. With the right leadership, they could flourish in lush forest. They could become stronger than any mountain cat. They'd need never know cold or hunger again. Flicking his tail, Clear Sky turned and headed through the trees. White fur flashed at the edge of his vision. Falling Feather was stalking through the tall grass, edging the forest. Clear Sky's pelt lifted irritably along his spine as he remembered Falling Feather's parting words to Thunder. I almost wish I were coming with you. Thunder had tried to persuade the white she-cat to desert with him, and she'd actually considered it. Clear Sky unsheathed his claws. Falling Feather. Her head jerked up. Clear Sky? She looked surprised. I want to talk to you. She blinked at him over the grass. What about? Clear Sky narrowed his eyes. Didn't you realize he'd overheard her? I was watching you say goodbye to Thunder and Frost. Were you? She tried to sound innocent, but he could see the fur around her neck rippling guiltily. Come here. He scowled at her. Well? I just wish them well, that's all. She pushed through the long grass towards him. Thunder asked you to leave with him. He stared at her accusingly. She bounded from the grass and landed on the leaf-strewn ground a tail length away. I told him no. You told him you almost wished you were going with him. He circled her, his tail twitching irritably. She was acting like she'd done nothing wrong. I decided to stay. Her gaze sharpened. What's it to you? I can go anywhere I like. Clear Sky showed his teeth. Dumb cat. Didn't you realize how much he needed his protection and guidance? You are part of my tribe now. If I can't rely on your loyalty, then you might as well leave for good. Tribe? Falling Feather's eyes widened in surprise. We're not a tribe. Half our kin are in the mountains. Half the cats we traveled with live on the moor. We have no stone teller to guide us. Heat scorched beneath Clear Sky's pelt. The word had slipped out accidentally. Did she have to humiliate him? Okay, we're not a tribe, he snapped. We're better than a tribe. Who needs a stone teller? You have me. He lashed his tail. I guide you now. I found our camp. I decided our borders. You should be grateful. Because of me, you'll never be hungry or cold again. Because of you? Falling Feather snorted. You act like you brought us here. Have you forgotten that we made the journey from the mountains together? Who saved Quickwater from drowning? I did. Who saved Jagged Peak from the eagle? Grey Wing. We protected each other. No cat is more important than any other. No cat except Stone Teller. She speaks with the ancients. She is wiser than you'll ever be. Rage surged through Clear Sky's belly. Look at this place! He swept his tail towards the trees. Birds sang in their branches. Prey scuttled among their roots. If she's so wise, why did she stay in the mountain to starve? Falling Feather thrust her muzzle close. She was looking after her cats. That's all I'm doing. Indignation surged through him. How could Falling Feather be so ungrateful? Because of me, you are safe and well fed. Falling Feather frowned. It's the forest that feeds us. And who makes sure the forest belongs to us and no one else? Clear Sky jerked his muzzle towards the boundary marking the edge of the trees. All you care about is boundaries, Falling Feather accused. You stretch them further every chance you get. There's more to life than territory. Really? Clear Sky spat. Do you want to share our prey with every passing stray? There's enough prey in the forest to share. But now we have kits. Have you forgotten Birch and Alder? Clear Sky couldn't believe how short-sighted she was being. There'll be more than kits one day. There'll be more kits one day. Wait. And more. Do you want them to starve like Fluttering Bird? Grief echoed in the back of his mind as he recalled his younger sister, who died in the mountains. Grief soured his memory. Would she have lived if I'd hunted harder? I never want to watch a kid starve again. Do you think I do? Falling Feather hissed. Stop pretending you're moving boundaries for our sake. You're just greedy. Rage roared in his ears. Fast as a snake, Clear Sky raked her muzzle with his claws. Oh! Falling Feather jerked away, her paws slithering on the leaves. She stared as though she hardly recognized him. He showed his teeth. Everything I do for all of us, he snarled. Falling Feather backed away, blood welling on her nose. Kay, she growled huskily. Is it? I'll lower the ambient noise.
Thank you, Hound.
I'm sorry I hurt you, said Clear Sky, but when the cold season comes and there are new kits in camp, you'll understand what I already know. Any cat who questions my loyalty puts all of us in danger. With a whip of his tail, he turned and began to head further into the forest.
Warrior cats! Hi, Lambriel! Oh, heck no, you haven't put paws on a woman. Exactly! Yes, I want to hear no. So is it better now? The ambiance?
Lambriel, do you know warrior cats? Are you a warrior cats fiend?
Thank you, Blackberry.
And thank you, Hound. Can I tell you the story of how I know about warrior cats?
Yes, please. I want to know. I want to know the details. It's a lot better now? Excellent. Excellente.
Good thing we changed it early on in the story. Lower ambience is better.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Look at the chat on the screen. It's so funny.
Can I tell you, Nya, the story, Nya, of how I know about Wario Nya cats? It's a Nya. What better now?
So funny. I joined a Minecraft server when I was 11 and met some girl who was talking about it, and I wanted to be her friend, so I was like, oh my god, I love warrior cats. She quizzed me on character info to prove it. I got it wrong, and she never spoke to me again. Prove it. I bet you're not a real warrior cats fan. What medicine do they use to treat fever?
You love Yokai Watch so much. I should like get into Yokai Watch, honestly. They have cute games, don't they?
Did you end up like studying it afterwards, or were you like, heck, warrior cats? He asked me what color for Rusty had, and I got it wrong. What did you say? It's red. It's ginger.
Hello, Mini-Me.
Play the emulators for Yokai Watch. Maybe I will. I will. I think I said red and she was, actually, it's ginger. I mean, red is close enough. He was named. I was too traumatized. Now it just brings back the painful memories of the girl that you never got to be friends with. So funny. Red is. I would accept red. I would accept red as a answer. Specifically because he gets named Firepaw in the future, so it's like, that's pretty red, I don't know. We were talking about Yokai Watch? Apparently not good. We were... Blackberry's talking about Yokai Watch. I'm reminiscing. I once played a mobile game about Yokai Watch, but that was it. You're a Warrior Cat fan? So name every cat... Name every cat from every single series, even the throwaway ones. I saw someone do like a family line timeline because the author doesn't pay attention anymore because we're like probably in the fifth line of what would it be? Like the family tree has gone down 5 times or something? Hardcore gatekeeper. How many? There's over 90 right now, and it's ongoing still. Let me look up the exact number. How many Warrior Cat books in 2000? It's still going? Heck yeah. Okay. There's 7 extra unreleased books. So by the end of 2025, there'll be 102 books. There's, I don't know how many. The thing is, there's like, that's so many cats. That's so many cats. They just make more cats. They find cats. Some cats are just wandering about. Some cats get born. Other cats come out of the woodwork, you know? It's cats. How many stories can you tell? You wouldn't believe. I'm gonna summarize. Okay, wait. I'm gonna summarize the first 4 books. The first 4 series. The first 4 series is the same group of cats. Dawn of the Clans, which is the series we're reading right now, is basically going back in time to when the cats like first established as clans. So in Into the Wild, we follow Rusty on his journey to become a wildcat. He used to be a kitty pet, which is a pet. He used to be a pet. No, Bomb Ahoy. You can do Bomb Ahoy. It's not a sound effect. Yeah, so he used to be a pet, and he joins ThunderClan, and lots and lots of drama ensues. There's murder. There's conspiracy. The one cat deputy, he's plotted to kill the leader several times in order for him to gain leadership. In the end, he gets exiled and he takes control of a different clan, and then Rusty became the leader of ThunderClan. And are there deaths in the series? Oh yeah, look at my death toll! Lambria, look at my death toll! I keep a death toll. This is a death toll. There's a lot of death. The plus, some of these have pluses on them because it means that there was an there was an undisclosed amount of cats who died. So it was kind of like say if there's a bunch of rogues fighting, it's like we don't know how many cats are there fighting, but so when they like a certain amount died and we don't really know that certain amount. So, you know, the 47 is like those are solid deaths that were described in the book. And then the plus is the implication that more death happened. The ghost of Stream Past. Yeah, so the first series is basically all there's so much depth. There's so much depth. It's basically Rusty's story. He becomes the clan leader, and all's well that ends well. New Prophecy, the second series. The humans are tearing down the forest. They're tearing down the forest, and the cats cannot live in the forest any longer. I just noticed the chat. It's special just for this stream. Just for reading streams. Yeah, so the forest it's being mowed down. The cats are being captured. The trees are being torn down. A cat from every single clan, Thunder Clan, Shadow Clan, River Clan, Wind Clan, gets summoned by their ancestors, Star Clan, and told to go on a quest to find a new place to live. So together, they run away from home, and Ivan! No worries. I'm retelling all the three main plots. Do they ever find the One Piece? They do! So the cats, they travel across the land, and they find a lake that is beautiful with enough territory for all four clans. And then they come back. Meanwhile, while they're on their adventure, the forest is nearly decimated. All the clans are desperate. They're kind of like, they've kind of taken shelter in ThunderClan's territory because of everything that's going on. Searching far and wide. And then the prophecy cats come back and they're like, We found a place to live. You have to follow us. StarClan sent us there. And so everybody agrees, and all four clans make the journey together to the new area. And it's beautiful. And they survive. And actually happens in the rest of that series. Oh, there's some drama, you know. Some details that become relevant in the next series after that. Happy ending. He does see there. It's not resolved. Here's the inner drama that was going on within. So, in ThunderClan specifically, we have this squirrel flight. Wait, how do I say this? Okay, so Squirrel Flight and Brambleclaw kind of had this thing going on. They were humming and hawing about being mates a little bit, and then there's like some drama because Brambleclaw is technically like the son of the evil cat in the first series. So everybody's kind of like, oh my god, Brambleclaw is going to become an evil cat just like his dad. And so there was like some tensions there. And Ashfur had this huge crush on Squirrelflight and was like, Squirrelflight, you're gonna like, let's he was busy flirting with Squirrelflight, and Squirrelflight was kind of flirting back. Like, she was pretty heavily flirting back because she was like, Brambleclaw, can I trust him? What's he hiding from me, etc. And in the end, she ended up dumping Ashfur and did end up becoming the mate of Brambleclaw. And that was the drama, kind of like some drama issue there. Meanwhile, there's Leafpool, who is a medicine cat, also Squirrelflight's sister, and she fell in love with Crowfeather, who is a Wind Clan cat. And no, cats can't date in other clans. It's against the law, the cat law. So they fell in love, the two of them, and they decided to run away together. And so they did. But she was called back because she loved being a medicine cat so much. You could be making all of this up and I literally have no idea. I could.
Bye, Lambrio. Have fun.
I will enjoy cat reading. And so, yeah, that kind of drama, and they end up coming back and they break up because obviously they can't, like, be together. This is not... And then, Power of 3. Now, this is when things get a little crazy, all right? All right, Chais. I was going to say chat, but I said guys too. This is when it gets a little cuckoo crazy. So, Squirrelflight and Brambleclaw have kittens, and we're following them in this particular series. It's J-Paw, Hollypaw, and Lionpaw. Those are the new cats. Shockingly, there was a prophecy way back in the day that said that the kin of Firestar, who was the cat from the first series, will have enough power to save the clans. Like, they'll have more power than StarClan itself, which means they actually have superpowers. So J-Paw, J-Feather, he becomes, has the superpower. He has the power to go into other cats' dreams and memories. So he has, like, he's pretty much an empath, but, like, heightened. He can, like, he's done this before where if a cat is dying, he can jump in their dreams. Stop. He can go in their dreams and he can call them back from, like, crossing the other side. He's like, come back, don't go. And then they're like, but over here is nice. And he's like, no, don't go yet. And then he saves them. That's actually, I think that's only happened twice, but I feel like it should have happened more. My Hero Catademia. And only 3 cats get the superpowers. There's only 3. That's why it's called Power of 3. Lionpaw, who becomes Lionblaze, is OP. He gets super strength. And, like, he's basically undefeatable in battle. Yeah, that's it. He's undefeatable in battle. He's OP. He cannot die if he's battling. He could die in any other way, but... And I think, like, it is implied that he has to be in the mindset of, I'm not gonna die, I'm unstoppable. For it to, like, click in, but yeah.
He has plot armor. He does, literally.
And then the third cat wasn't Holly Paw. Holly Paw never got any superpowers. And it was weird, and they were confused. And then, actually, I don't remember what mostly happened in that series. It's too complicated now. It's getting too overwhelming. I can't summarize it. Live Actually. Long story short, I was crazy once. Long story short, we find out that Jayfeather, Hollyleaf, and Lion Blaze, the 3 kits, were actually not Squirrelflight and Brambleclaw's kittens, but Leafpool and Crowfeather's kittens, so they're half clan. Hollyleaf goes crazy because she is so dedicated to the cat law that she's like, no, I can't be born from a unlawful thing. And she like exposes everyone and then kills someone and then runs away. That's the end of that series. And then in the 4th series, we find the 3rd cat that has the superpowers, Dovepaw. And Dovepaw has the ability to see and smell from a very, very far distance. I think it's mostly smell, no? Is it smell? I think she can visualize things in her head. But she can hear really far. Oh no, it's hearing. It's hearing mostly. She can overhear really far away if she concentrates. And then kind of like the world around where she's hearing kind of gets in her brain. Like she can imagine it. Yeah. Also in that series, all the evil cats from Cat Hell come back to kill everyone. And there's a big cat war against the dead evil cats. It's good. It's good. I really think you'd like cattails. Very warrior cats. I tried playing cattails once. I couldn't hunt. It was very difficult. It's probably still on my Switch. All right. Thanks for listening to my there's Cat Hell and there's Cat Heaven. Cat Heaven is Star Clan and Cat Hell is the Dark Forest. There's an undead cat war. Yep. The undead cats somehow breach and they're like ghosts sort of. But they're like they can do things. They can hurt. They can hurt people. They get like bodies sort of. They're like spirit forms gain strength. Warhammer 40k lore sounds more reasonable. It makes sense while you're reading it, okay? It makes sense while you're reading it. But in the 5th series, the series that we're currently in, so far, there's no superpowers. FNAF is less deeper than this. It's so deep, guys. It goes so far. I think that's Jagged Peak. Really? He's so baby! Jagged Peak's so cute! Alright, let's keep going. We're an hour in, and I've not even finished the first chapter. Cat. Okay, I'm gonna continue. Charred wood scents still wafted on the breeze as they trekked silently through the forest, despite the fact that several full moons had passed since the Great Fire. When they reached camp, Clear Sky climbed the steep bank edging one side and watched falling feathers slink across the clearing to the tangled roots of an oak. There she crouched alone, her tongue still flicking out to soothe the scratch on her muzzle. Quickwater hurried to join her, and the 2 she-cats huddled, heads close, murmuring, Clear Sky shifted his paws. Were they gossiping about him? Was Falling Feather complaining about the scratches he'd given her? He wondered whether to interrupt. He didn't want cats to talk about him behind his back. But if he drew attention to Falling Feather's whining, he might make it worse. His pelt prickled uneasily, but he held his tongue. He's so paranoid. Ben, I can't believe we're in Clear Sky's POV. Crazy. His gaze flicked to fir cone and nettle. The two young Toms had joined the forest cats only recently. Their loyalty was still as brittle as dry leaves. They persuaded Thunder to question Clear Sky's decision to enlarge the forest boundaries. A growl rattled his throat. He was going to have to strengthen their commitment and teach them some courage. Brave cats would have questioned him themselves. He straightened, leaping down the bank and padding into the center of the earth clearing. Leaf, a black and white Tom, looked up from where he'd been washing his belly at the foot of a smooth rock jutting out one end of the clearing. He searched Clear Sky's gaze. Is Thunder really leaving? He left. Clear Sky flicked his tail. He didn't want to think about the past. The future was all that mattered. Gather to hear me speak. He flashed his gaze around the forest cats. Quickwater padded towards him. Falling Feather joined. Nettle and Fir Cone circled him and stopped a tail length away. Leaf shook out his fur and joined Nettle, exchanging glances with the young rogue. A yellow face peered out from behind a low, spreading yew. Is there a meeting? Clear Sky beckoned her with his tail. Yes, Petal, please join us. As the golden pelted she-cat slid out from beneath the dark green branches, the faces of two kits peered after her, their round eyes shining. Don't worry, Birch. Petal turned and soothed the tomcat. She nodded to his sister, huddled beside him. Alder, stay there. Make sure Birch stays with you. She whisked them back into the shadow of with a soft flick of her tail, and crossed the clearing. What's up? She stopped beside Falling Feather. Clear Sky hardly heard her. She was watching Birch and Alder as they stared from the yew. They weren't Petal's kits. She'd taken them in after their mother had died. After I killed their mother. The words rang unbidden in his head. Guilt moved like worms beneath his pelt. A growl rumbled in his throat. No! She attacked us! I was just defending my cats. She was just defending her kits. He ignored the reproach echoing in his ears and fought to steady his paws. They were trembling. I must stay strong if I'm to see my cats through the cold season. The forest was still blossoming as the warm season gave way to hot, but warmth never lasted. The forest would be frozen all too soon. Prey would go to ground and hunger would stalk the cats with the ruthlessness of a fox, just as it had in the mountains. Isn't this like their second winter? What's he so paranoid about? There, Sky? Petal's mew jerked him from his thoughts. He flicked his tail and leapt past Leaf onto the rock. His cats turned to face towards him. Thunder and Frost have left, and they aren't coming back. Fir Cone and Nettle exchanged glances. There's no room in our forest for cats who aren't loyal. He snapped his gaze towards Falling Feather. She straightened. I'm loyal. He cut her off. Falling Feather thought about leaving with them. Only for a moment, Falling Feather protested. Dang, dude, he's like exposing her. He was pleased to see the guilt flashing in her wide green eyes. She looked anxiously around at the other cats. Clear Sky hoped they all saw the same guilt in her gaze. Then they'd understand what he was about to do. Even a single moment is too long, he growled. If we are to make it through the cold season, we need to establish strong boundaries and unwavering loyalty now. He stalked to the edge of the rock and glowered at Falling Feather. When times are hard, I need to be able to trust you. Quickwater lifted her muzzle. You have known Falling Feather since you were kits, she called up. Of course you can trust her. Leaf's gaze slid towards Falling Feather. What about the rest of us, not born in the mountains? Can we trust her? Snap. Thank you for the follow, Wandering Godling. Clear Sky scanned the cats' faces eagerly. Did any other cats share Leaf's doubt? Of course! Quickwater stared angrily at Leaf. Petal narrowed her eyes. Clear Clear Sky is right, she murmured. We need to be able to rely on each other even when times are tough. If we wanted to live as rogues, we'd have stayed rogues, but we chose to join Clear Sky because we believed he offered us a better life. Exactly! Clear Sky lifted his tail triumphantly. I'm glad you understand, Petal. I only want what's best. Loyalty will give us strength. It will let us trust one another. It will keep us safe. His gaze flashed back to Falling Feather. This is why she must be punished. Falling Feather's snowy fur spiked along her spine. Punished? Her mew was barely a breath. Clear Sky looked around the other cats. If she shows any signs of disloyalty, it must be reported to me. Immediately. He waited until Petal nodded and Leaf blinked in agreement. Furcone and Nettle shifted their paws uneasily. Immediately! Clear Sky showed his teeth. They gave hasty nods. Quick water? Clear Sky glared at the gray and white she-cat. I won't need to report her, she glared back. Falling Feather would never be disloyal. He narrowed his eyes. Any cat may give Falling Feather orders. Any cat may take her prey if they wish. She is lower than a snake until she has learned our trust again. Jesus, I would just leave. Falling Feather's eyes sparkled with hurt, but she didn't argue. Quickwater moved closer to her friend. Clear Sky flicked his tail. But we have more important things to discuss. He looked down at Furcone and Nettle. Some cats have been questioning my decision to expand our boundaries. He saw Nettle unsheath his claws defensively. His warning had been heard. Content, he softened his tone. I want to put your mind at ease, he soothed. It's for your own good. Can't you see that? He nodded towards the trees crowding camp. Blackened trunks showed among them. The fire destroyed much of our territory, and it will take time for the forest to recover and prey to return. We need more land to hunt until it does, and with thunder and frost gone, and small mouths to feed. He glanced towards the ewe. Birch had crept from the shadows and was staring up at him, while Alder tugged his tail between her teeth, trying to haul him back beneath the branches. Clear Sky went on. We need to claim as much territory as we can. Leaf frowned. Claiming territory is one thing, he called. How do we keep it? Clear Sky flexed his claws. We patrol our borders and we fight any cat who crosses them. Even Greywing? Quickwater tipped her head. He's your brother. Fury surged from Clear Sky's belly. He attacked me! He accused me of murdering the kitty pet Bumble! Outrage spiked his pelt. Me! Murder a kitter pet! Didn't you just murder someone recently, dude? He flicked his tail towards Birch and Alder. I rescue cats. I don't kill them. He pressed on before anyone could remind him how the kits had lost their mother. These are dark times, and the cold season is not yet here. We must work together to build a strong, safe home. Wait! Together! Together! Petal chanted eagerly. Together! Together! Leaf joined her. Furcone joined in with the black and white Tom. Together! Clear Sky's chest flooded with pride as the cats yowled their support. Even Quickwater and Falling Feather joined in, though their eyes watched their new mates warily. So what? He knew that building loyalty and trust among his cats was going to take time, but it would be worth it. By next warm season, the forest would belong to them, and they would be well-fed and safe. We must be strong. Clear Sky lifted his chin. Let us train until no cat can outfight us. Train? Leaf stared as the other cats fell quiet around him. We will practice fighting until we're better than any rogue or moorcat. Excitement rushed through Clear Sky like wildfire, his thoughts spiraling. If we share our skills and our strengths, we'll be able to protect our territory. Nettle! Clear Sky leaped from the rock and circled the gray Tom. I want you to fight Furcone. He padded towards Furcone and nudged his molted gray shoulder. Go on, he urged. Fight! I don't want to hurt my friend, Nettle objected. Then keep your claws sheathed, Clear Sky told him. I just want you to show us your fighting technique. He nodded to Leaf and Petal. We can watch. He beckoned Quickwater and Falling Feather closer with a flick of his tail. And we can learn your skills, then show you ours. Leaf was nodding. Great idea, Clear Sky. I bet they have moves we don't know yet. Petal leaned forward, and I have moves they can learn. You can fight next, Clear Sky promised, exhilarated to see his cats so eager to share their skills. He blinked at Furcone. Are you ready? Furcone nodded, his amber eyes shining. I'm ready. Me too. Nettle whisked his tail and dropped into a crouch. Furcone narrowed his eyes and faced his friend. Clear Sky padded across the clearing, nudging Leaf, Petal, Falling Feather, and Quickwater back until there was a clear, wide circle for the two young Toms.
Can we watch?
Birch was straining against Adler's teeth as she tugged on his tail. Yes, Clear Sky purred indulgently. You're never too young to learn. Quickwater flashed him a disapproving look. He ignored it. Hopefully she changed her mind when they grew into fearless, skillful fighters. He stepped aside as Birch and Alder hurled forwards and skidded to a halt beside Petal. Furcone's tail was sweeping the earth behind him as he stared at Nettle. Nettle narrowed his eyes, muscles twitching beneath his pelt. Furcone leaped. Nettle reared and met him midair. The thump of their bodies as they clashed rang through the camp. They dropped. Nettle landed on top of Furcone and, raising his forepaw, slammed them down onto his friend's shoulders. Breath burst from Furcone. He rolled, bunching his hind legs and kicking out as Nettle reared and hit him again. His back paws caught Nettle on the chin and thrust him backwards. Petal darted out of the way. Alder and Birch stared frozen as the huge Tom careened towards them. Move! Petal ordered. Shrieking, they scattered like mice, escaping a moment before Nettle collapsed heavily onto the ground beside them. Finish him, Furcone! Clear Sky goaded. Furcone had already leaped to his paws, rage burning in his eyes. He clearly hadn't expected Nettle to attack him so forcefully. Hissing, he leaped at his friend. Nettle scrambled to find his paws too late. Furcone hit him hard, smashing him to the ground. Growling, Nettle curled like a caterpillar and grabbed Furcone's hind paws as the molted Tom reared. Clamping his jaws around his friend's leg, he tugged until Furcone staggered and fell. No one finishes me! With a hiss, Nettle dived for Furcone's throat. Teeth bared! Oh my god. Finish him. Enough! Clear Sky darted forward and grabbed Nettle's scruff. He tugged him back. We don't hurt each other. He tried to hurt me, Nettle glowered at Furcone. Furcone glared back. I was defending myself. You both fought well, Clear Sky praised. He was pleased to see such ferocity. If they were this fierce with friends, how fierce would they be with enemies? That was a good move, Nettle. He nodded approvingly at the gray Tom. Furcone wasn't expecting you to grab his hind legs. He turned to Furcone. And you moved well in the air. You must teach us all how you managed to twist like that. I used my tail, Furcone told him. Leaf tipped his head curiously. How? I'll show you. Furcone dropped into a crouch. When you leap, the twist starts at the tail tip. If you flick it right, it'll alter your balance just enough. He leaped, twirling as he streaked through the air, and then landed gracefully on his paws. Nettle leaned forward, rage giving way to curiosity. I didn't know you could do that. Try it, Furcone encouraged eagerly. Clear Sky sat down. The friend's anger was forgotten already. They were only interested in learning how to fight better. Satisfaction warmed his pelt. They were skilled cats, and, with training, they'll be deadly. Glad we got this POV because they really add to the story. You get to understand why Clear Sky does the things he does. This is his character, and it explains so many... It is! It's very interesting. We can see him, like, he very much pushes that kind of, like, I'm doing this for their own good. Why don't they understand? Like, they don't see the future like I see it. They're stuck in the present. We're trying to make a better future. Like, he's like that. You read very well. Thank you. I'm still a little bit stumbly, but hopefully it'll warm up. Chapter 2. Oh, Windrunner? Okay. I had to remember her accent. He thinks he's doing what's right, but it's wrong. Yeah, it's like he's so focused on the future, he's not seeing what he's doing in the present. But he also doesn't want to see what's going on in the present because he's so focused on, like, he doesn't care about the present, he cares about the future so much. So when people are like, you have to pay attention to what you're doing and being right now, he's like, it literally doesn't matter because I'm focused on the future. Interesting. Cool. Chapter 2.
We should meet him face to face, ready to fight.
Greywing watched Windrunner pace the clearing. Her brown pelt was rippling nervously. She lashed her tail as she went on.
The sooner we make a stand, the sooner he'll understand.
The wiry rogue had grown plump since joining them. The steady diet of prey must be doing her good. Greywing glanced at the rest of the moor cats, gathered in the sandy hollow where they had made their camp. Jagged Peak was crouched beside Turtletail, his eyes round with worry. Gorsefur watched through narrowed eyes. Shattered Ice and Jackdaw's cries sat with their ears pricked, as though they were listening beyond the gorse for trouble. Hawkswoop fidgeted between them, her orange pelt catching the early evening light. In the distance, the setting sun touched the moor top, turning the heather golden. Greywing closed his eyes in frustration. If we start with a fight, who knows where it'll end? His paws felt heavy as stone. Tall Shadow growled softly, her hackles lifting. Windrunner should be right. Could be right. If we make a stand now, he'll think twice about attacking us. He won't attack us! Greywing refused to believe Clear Sky would hurt his own kin. He's my brother. I grew up with him. What is there to fight for anyways? Rainswept Flower spoke up. We don't want Clear Sky's dumb forest. Surely he doesn't want the moor. He chose to live in the woods. She stood beneath the drooping brambles that arched over one end of the hollow. The yellow flowered tips of its trailing fronds resting on her brown pelt. Behind her, Greywing could hear Turtletail's kits playing in the shadows, sheltered from the wind beneath the arching branches. The petals rustled, and Sparrowfur tumbled out.
I'll be the mouse this time,
she called to her littermates. She'd hardly finished speaking when Pebbleheart and Owleyes burst from the bush and hurled themselves at her.
That's not fair!
Sparrowfur wriggled from under them and stood at the edge of the clearing. She puffed out her tortoise-shell fur.
You'll have to give me a chance to hide.
Owleye sat down.
Why can't we play Jump the Bird?
Pebbleheart rubbed his nose with his brown tabby paw.
There's not enough space to play a bird game under the bush. We could play it out here,
Owleye suggested, nodding towards the stretch of sandy earth. Greywing glanced at the young gray Tom. Stay out of the way, he ordered, until we finish talking. Sparrowfur's eyes lit excitedly.
Let's go back under the bramble and see how far we can climb into the branches.
She disappeared inside. A moment later, the bramble trembled as she began scrambling through its spindly stems.
Be careful!
Turtletail began to cross the clearing, her eyes round with worry as her kits disappeared into the tangle of branches. Greywing gently blocked her way. Their claws are sharp enough to cling on, he promised. Pebbleheart, Sparrowfur, and Owleyes were still small, but they were already as strong as young rabbits. The bramble rocked under their weight, making the flowery stems tremble on Rainswept Flower's spine. The she-cat padded clear. How can we even think of fighting? She fretted. We have kids to raise. We should be hunting, not arguing over borders. Jagged Peak limped forward. His hind leg, injured in a fall from a tree, scraped the sandy earth behind him. If Clear Sky wants to waste time creating borders, let him. Gorsefur frowned, the spiky fur on his forehead rippling. But he's killing cats doing it. Greywing turned... Oh wait, Gorsefur. No, that's his new one, on his old friend, anger flaring. We don't know that. Turtletail's ears flattened. He killed Bramble. And Misty, Shattered Ice spoke up. His gray and white pelt rippled. Greywing shifted paws uneasily. No one saw him kill Misty. We smelled Clear Sky's scent on her body when we found her. Gorse first glanced at Windrunner for confirmation. The two cats had discovered the rogues' dead bodies while out hunting. Windrunner nodded solemnly. It's true. But he took in Misty's kits, Greywing pointed out hopefully. A color wouldn't show such kindness. Turtletail hissed. Guilty conscience. Windrunner narrowed her eyes. He wouldn't have had to take them if he hadn't killed their mother. Greywing's thoughts began to whirl. How could Clear Sky be a murderer? He gazed at the moor cats. Anger sparked in their eyes. The rage in Turtletail worried him the most. I can't let this argument over Clear Sky drive us apart. He blinked at Cloud Spots. The Tom seemed relaxed despite the accusations flying across the clearing. His black fur was unruffled, his gaze calm. What do you think? Greywing appealed to him. Cloud Spots was smart enough to know how to heal sickness and injury with herbs. Perhaps he knew how to heal this rift opening among the moor cats. I think there is no prey on the prey heap. He nodded towards the empty patch of earth beside the flat rock jutting at the edge of the clearing. The moor cats had begun storing their prey there, where shadow protected it from the putrefying warmth of the midday sun. The kits'll be hungry soon, and so will we. He glanced around at the other cats, and empty bellies never soothed frayed tempers. Greywing felt a wave of gratitude for the Tom's common sense. Full bellies would calm them all. Jackdaws cry? He nodded to the young black Tom. Will you go with Shattered Ice and Gorsefur and bring back prey? Prey? Oh wait, prey? Sparrowfur was scrambling down the bramble stem. Is it time to eat? As she plopped her head through the trailing branches, Turtletail padded towards her. Soon, dear. Shattered Ice is going hunting. Greywing looked hopefully at the green-eyed Tom. Okay? Shattered Ice nodded. I'll go with them, Hawkswoop announced. Jackdaw's Cry was already headed for the gap in the heather that led into the moor side, and she hurried after him. Gorsefur followed, Shattered Ice following in behind. Windrunner paced around Greywing. We still haven't decided what to do about Clear Sky. Greywing felt a flash of irritation. Windrunner had only joined the group recently. Who was she to insist they make decision about a cat who had come all the way from the mountains with them? Turtletail shooed Sparrowfur back beneath the bush and turned towards Greywing. What's your plan? Tall Shadow padded closer, stopping a muzzle length from Greywing. You agree that some cat has to stop Clear Sky before more damage is done. Greywing blinked. After he'd confronted Clear Sky over Bumble's deadly injuries, he'd asked Tall Shadow for advice. He trusted Tall Shadow to know what to do. The strong black she-cat had led them from the mountains, confident in her ability to guide her tribe mates safely to their new home. Greywing had been unnerved when her confidence had ebbed away after their arrival on the moor. He could hardly believe it when she'd asked him to take over as leader. But with the death of her brother, Moonshadow, her old energies seemed to have returned. Faced with Clear Sky's hostility, Greywing had been so unsure about what to do that he'd offered to pass the leadership back to her. But she had refused. Instead, they'd agreed to work together, and, with the help of Windrunner, a cat more courageous and intelligent than Greywing had imagined a rogue could ever be, they'd agreed to face this problem together. Hi, Snack! He stiffened his shoulders. If Clear Sky's moving boundaries, we need to know where he'll expand next. Tall Shadow tipped her head. How? Windrunner's ears twitched. We could send spies. Hi, Kitsune! Too dangerous. Greywing traced an arc in the sand with a claw. Windrunner and Tall Shadow hopped backwards to give him room. Turtletail paced a wide circle, her gaze curious. This is where the forest ends, Greywing explained. He traced a fresh line with his paw, expanding the arc out in a bulge. You found Misty here, right? He pointed to the fresh line, and then traced another bulge, and Bumble here. Tall Shadow was nodding. The two bulges stuck out like ears on a cat. This space, Greywing scuffed the earth between and drew a fresh arc further down with a sweep of his paw. This area will probably be his next target. Windrunner's eyes lit. Until he's pushed his boundary clear to the edge of the moor slope. Greywing nodded. If he's determined to take more territory, he might use the same strategy again and again until... Greywing traced 2 more bulges from the fresh arc, then scuffed the earth between. He's pushed right up.
Thunder!
Rainswept Flower's mew interrupted him. Greywing glanced across the clearing. The she-cat's nose was high, her whiskers twitching excitedly. Cloudspots padded forward, tasting the air. She's right. Greywing frowned as he saw her, confused. Oh wait, sorry. I skipped a whole bunch. Greywing looked up. The sky was clear, growing purple as the sun set. Thunder? He frowned. Can you smell rain?
Not thunder! Or not rain! Thunder!
Rainswept Flower raced towards the gap in the heather and peered through. She hopped backwards as Hawkswoop swept past, her amber eyes glowing with joy. Greywing frowned as he saw her, confused. You went hunting. He stopped as he caught a glimpse of a familiar pelt behind her.
Thunder!
Joy surged through his pelt as he recognized the young Tom. Thunder's paws, which had been so huge when he was a kid, didn't seem big anymore. You've grown. His shoulders were broader, muscles rippling beneath his sleek orange and white pelt. Hawkswoop had raised him in the Moorcats' camp after his mother and littermates had been killed. When he'd left to be with his father in the forest, Greywing had missed him, but he had understood why the young cat had wanted to go. He hurried to greet him, ears twitching with curiosity. What are you doing back on the moor? Thunder glanced nervously around the camp. I hope you don't mind me coming here. Greywing slowed. Thunder hadn't answered his question. Strange forest scents clung to his pelt. Doubt prickled in his paws. Why had Thunder appeared now? So soon after Bumble's death and Greywing's quarrel with Clearsky, had his brother sent the young Tom to spy? Hawkswoop puffed out her chest. He's come home, she mewed, her voice cracking. Beside the gap in the heather, Rainswept Flower stiffened. Who's that? A white Tom had limped into camp after Thunder. Greywing narrowed his eyes. That's Frost, Hawkswoop told them, her words tumbling out. He's been banished by Clearsky. Thunder left with him. We found them trekking from the border. Her eyes were fixed on Thunder, shining as fondly as if he were her own kit.
Ada, ada.
I'm not good at that one.
Ay, darn!
I don't need to hear about a cat's muscles rippling under their fur. He's strong. He's buff, Aldo.
Thank you, Sloth. Hi, darn. I already said that, but hello again.
Thunder was staring at Greywing, his gaze sharp with worry. Frost needs help, and we had nowhere else to go. That's why they've come. Greywing's pelt smoothed. Thunder was helping a friend. Hawkswoop went on. Jackdaw's Cry and the others went on with the hunt, but I wanted to bring Thunder home as soon as possible. Her tail flicked with anxiety as she lowered her voice. Banished cats should not be wandering the moors alone, and Frost is injured. Clearsky wouldn't tolerate a cat not pulling its weight. Cloudspots went to circle the white Tom, his nose twitching. Frost backed away, pelt bristling. It's okay. 22 months since.
Hi, Phil. Welcome. Thank you for the repop.
It's okay, Cloudspots murmured distractedly, his eyes searching Frost's pelt. I'm just checking to see how badly you're hurt. It's a burn on my leg, Frost mumbled. He held still, watching warily as Cloudspots padded around him.
Thunder!
Frost whirled in surprise as excited mules burst from the bramble and paws thumbed over the sandy clearing. The kits were racing to greet their old friend. Greywing swished his tail. Wait, he told them. You can greet him in a moment. Your wound has gone sour. Cloudspot's nose wrinkled as he sniffed at Frost's hind legs. Is that why it hurts so much? Frost's face twisted with pain. Yes. Cloudspots crouched and sniffed the wide, raw wound, which showed near the top of the leg where fur should have been. Yellow pus welled on the swollen red flesh. It's a burn from the fire that won't heal, Thunder explained. Come with me. Cloudspots beckoned to Frost with a nod and led him towards a gorse bush. Its branches jutted over the clearing, and Cloudspots gently nosed Frost into the space beneath. Greywing saw the white Tom's face soften with relief as he sank down into its shade. "I'll fetch some herbs to ease the pain." Cloudspots stepped out from behind the gorse and trotted towards the gap in the heather. "What happened, Thunder?" Greywing leaned closer to the young Tom. "Why did Clear Sky banish you?" Thunder shifted his paws uneasily. Greywing was suddenly aware of Rainswept Flower's breath in his ear. Hawkswoop was leaning closer to Thunder. Tall Shadow and Windrunner padded nearer, their ears twitching. Turtletail stood a tail length away while the kits lined up beside her, fidgeting with impatience.
Can we greet him yet?
Sparrowfur begged. Greywing stared into Thunder's eyes. He saw grief darkening his amber gaze. What had happened between the young Tom and his father? "Come with me." Gently, he nudged Thunder through the gap in the heather and crossed the smooth grass, golden in the setting sun. As he sat down, he noticed Thunder glance over his shoulder, swapping looks with Turtletail. He was touched by the warmth in their gazes. He loved both cats, and he was glad they were fond of each other. "I'm so pleased you've come back," he purred loudly. Thunder nosed his shoulder fondly. "It's good to see you." He began to pace around Greywing. Greywing's ears twitched. He had to know why Thunder was so tense. "Hawkswoop said Clear Sky had banished you."
Thank you for the follow snack.
Thunder halted. "He banished Frost, not me," muttered. "I chose to leave." "You chose to leave your father? But you were so eager to join him." Thunder growled. "I have no father." Greywing gasped. "Has something happened to Clear Sky?" "If his brother had been injured or worse..." "No, he's fine." Thunder stared angrily at his paws. "Then why..." "He wanted me to take Frost somewhere and leave him to die alone." Thunder jerked his head and stared straight at Greywing. "All the forest cats are scared of him. He hurts anyone who stands up to him. I can't stay in the forest if I don't agree with him." Greywing felt a flash of pride at Thunder's outrage, but sadness tugged at his belly. Was Clear Sky going to drive away every cat who loved him? He remembered his recent quarrel with his brother over Bumble's death. He hurts any cat who stands up to him. Perhaps Thunder knew Clear Sky had killed her. It could be another reason why he'd left. "Did he mention anything about a kitty pet who died?" Greywing ventured. "No." Thunder's eyes narrowed. "Why?" "We found a body near Clear Sky's new border," Greywing explained. "It was Bumble, a friend of Turtletail's from her time with the two legs. Clear Sky said he'd fought with the kitty pet, but told me it was a fox who'd killed her."
Hiya!
I have all the books and I have the three new ones. I have all the books that I'm reading currently. I've never read them before. I only ever read up to maybe the first or second book of Dawn of the Stars. Or Omen of the Stars, sorry. Omen of the Stars. And so everything I'm reading thus far is all new to me. It's exciting. Thunder's gaze glistened. Clear Sky did return to camp yesterday smelling of fox, he admitted.
I'm glad, Blackberry.
And I fought a fox earlier today. Hope soared like a bird in Greywing's chest. So it could have been a fox? Thunder stiffened. Why? Do you think it could have been Clear Sky? Greywing caught his eye. Do you? They stared at each other for a long moment that seemed to last forever. Greywing felt his heart beating in his throat. If Clear Sky's own son thought him capable of murder, Greywing couldn't bear to finish the thought. He's angry. Thunder avoided the question. And he's determined to claim as much territory as he can. He fears the coming cold season as though he was still in the mountains, and fear can bring out the worst in any creature. Greywing was impressed by how much Thunder had matured. The young cat seemed to spot danger with the clarity of a hawk's gaze. He began to pace, nervous energy fizzing in his paws. I don't want forest cats fighting more cats. Not over something as dumb as territory. He swept his tail towards the rolling moor. There's more land here than we could ever need. So long as old cats die as fast as kits are born. Thunder's mew was grim. But what if our numbers grow? Won't our borders need to grow too? Greywing flattened his ears. Do you agree with Clear Sky?
No!
Thunder growled. But we must defend the borders we have now, or Clear Sky will take everything. There will be war. Stoneteller's prophecy rang in Greywing's ears. He mustn't let it come true. Panic welled in his chest. If only I could talk to Clear Sky, he murmured. We could straighten everything out. We could set borders we both agree on. We could live in peace.
Greywing, how many times have you talked to Clear Sky?
How many times have you been like, oh my gosh, we can fix everything if I talk to him. And then you talk to him and nothing happens. Everything gets worse. Or he like leaves. Dude. I think it's time to give up.
Reading is making me tired.
Yeah! You go to sleep. Sweet dreams, go to bed. La, la, la. Then talk to him. Thunder's clear amber eyes glowed as the sun slid behind the moor top. You're the only cat he'd ever listen to. Greywing blinked. Thunder knew his father better than any of the moor cats. If he thought he could talk, that talk might be enough to settle their differences, there was a chance for peace. Agree? Yes. Then I'll do it. Thunder turned and headed for camp. Can Frost stay? He called over his shoulder. Greywing caught up to him. I wouldn't turn away an injured cat. You're not Clear Sky, Thunder muttered. As they padded into camp, the other cats turned, their gazes curious. The kits, who had been charging up and down the clearing, stopped and turned. Go and make yourself a nest, Greywing told Thunder.
Can we say hi to him now?
Owl Eyes called. Yes, Greywing nodded. As Thunder padded to the edge of the camp where the long grass sprouted beside the heather, the kits tore after him.
You're back!
Sparrowfur squeaked.
Are you staying?
Owl Eyes asked excitedly.
For good?
Pebble Eyes added. Greywing caught Tall Shadow's eye. I must speak with you. Turtletail was watching, her gaze sharp, as Tall Shadow padded to meet Greywing. He ignored it, focusing on Tall Shadow. I want to speak to Clear Sky and see if we can set borders we both agree on with words instead of claws. Tall Shadow's ears twitched nervously. Alone? Is that safe? Greywing hesitated. Would Clear Sky actually harm him? Tall Shadow dipped her head. Take others with you, just in case. As she spoke, paw steps sounded beyond the heather. Jackdaw's Cry, Shattered Ice, and Gorsefur had returned, all three carrying prey. Jackdaw's Cry dropped a dead rabbit beside the flat rock. Shattered Ice placed the limp body of a lapwing beside it. Gorsefur carried a shrew to Windrunner and laid it at her paws. She touched his cheek with her muzzle, then sniffed the prey. No wonder she's getting plump. Greywing leaped onto the flat rock. I must speak, he called. Turtletail turned her kits as they came hurling from Thunder's side. She shooed them back with a flick of her nose.
Why can't we hear?
Owl Eyes complained. Cat who can't hunt for himself is not old enough to hear anything, Turtletail told him briskly. Sparrowfur lifted her chin.
I caught a butterfly yesterday.
Turtletail gazed fondly at her daughter. I know, dear, but for now, take Owl Eyes and Pebbleheart back under the bramble. Lay there, out of the way. Sparrowfur turned sullenly and began to march away. Pebbleheart and Owl Eyes followed, dragging their paws. As Greywing waited for them to disappear behind the trailing branches, Gorsefur moved closer to Windrunner. Jackdaw's Cry sat down and swept his long black tail over his paws. Thunder padded from the grassy patch he'd been kneading into a nest. Hawk Soup settled beside Shattered Ice, while Tall Shadow and Rainswept Flower watched from the sandy clearing. Jagged Peak beside them. Cloudspots padded into camp. A bunch of green leaves clamped between his jaws. Greywing acknowledged him with a nod and waited for him to drop his leaves beside the gorse and take his place among the others. Then he began. Bumble's death has unsettled us all, coming so soon after Misty's. A grumble rumbled in Turtletail's throat. Greywing silenced her with a sharp look. Clear Sky's moving borders daily so that no cat knows where he may hunt or roam. He pressed on before anyone could yowl accusations. I have decided I must talk with him. If I can find out what he's thinking and what he wants, then we might find a way to live peacefully side by side. And you might sheath your claws next time you meet a forest cat. He glanced anxiously around the moor cats. Could he stop their anger from spiraling into revenge? Gorsefur snorted. We were already living peacefully till Clear Sky started causing trouble. And we'll do so again, Graywing promised. If I can only speak with him. He paused and looked around. Will anyone come with me?
I will,
Jackdaw's cry stepped forward. Gorsfur lifted his tail. Me too. Cloudspots wove between them and looked up at Graywing. We should wait, he meowed softly.
Wait?
Shattered Eyes jerked around to look at the black and white Tom. We accused Clear Sky of murder yesterday, Cloudspots reasoned. He will still be angry. We should let that anger pass before we confront him. I don't want to confront him, Graywing argued. I only want to talk. Thunder shouldered his way between Tall Shadow and Rainswept Flower. Cloudspots is right. Clear Sky will see it as a confrontation, he warned. My father has a quick temper. I've tried to reason with him, but he won't listen. It's better to wait till he cools down. His gaze betrayed a flicker of grief.
Thank you for the resub, Captain Hound. Ow!
Sympathy flooded Graywing's heart. He lost his father today. Okay, Graywing agreed. Any cat who wishes to come with me to Clear Sky's camp will meet me here at the Flat Rock in 2 dawns' time. Windrunner puffed out her fur. I'll be there. Murmurs rippled around the cats as Graywing jumped down beside Turtletail. Do you really think talking will help? Her gaze was disbelieving. Graywing padded towards the dark opening of the tunnel where he and Turtletail made their nest. We have to try it, Turtletail, he sighed. He's my brother.
Will I let myself be detonated like a bomb? Like a boom? I don't think I feel like blowing up today. Or ever.
She didn't say a word in response, which felt like a greater punishment than if she'd protested. I'll fetch the kids, she meowed eventually. Turtletail, he began.
I need to keep them safe,
she snapped, cutting him off.
Maned wolves don't howl. They do loud barks and roar barks.
There we go. He watched her pad away, then he climbed into their nest. Around him, night unfolded the camp. Gorsfur and Jagged Peak were tearing apart the prey the hunting party had brought back, giving pieces to each of the cats. Jagged Peak carried a haunch of rabbit across the clearing. He must be hungry. Dropped it beside Graywing's nest. Its warm scent filled Graywing's nose. Not really. Anxiety was churning in his belly. He stared past Jagged Peak at Thunder, who was nipping sprigs of heather from the camp wall and laying them in his new nest. He was pleased to have him back. The hollow felt like Thunder's rightful home. No. He pushed the thought away. He's not my kid. I have no right to claim him. Clear Sky had let him go twice. Was it possible to negotiate with any cat cruel enough to drive away his own son? Jagged Peak followed his gaze. Are you glad he's back? Graywing nodded. Of course.
Hi, Evan.
Guess Clear Sky doesn't want any kin near him, Jagged Peak murmured. Graywing's belly tightened more. Small paws thrummed across the clearing. The kits were racing for the nest.
I'm sleeping closest to Graywing tonight.
Sparrowfur leaped in first. Graywing felt a rush of joy. These kids weren't his own any more than Thunder was, yet they treated him like their father. Owl Eyes stopped beside the rabbit haunch and sniffed it. Hungry? Hurrying, Jagged Peak nudged the gray kit's cheek softly.
Yes!
Owl Eyes tore away a tiny mouthful. Turtletail stopped beside the nest as Jagged Peak headed away. Are you hungry, Pebbleheart? She tipped her head to one side as Pebbleheart blinked solemnly up at her.
A bit.
She leaned past Owl Eyes and, hooking the juicy haunch towards her, tore it into pieces, giving a morsel to each of her kits. Sparrowfur purred loudly as she chewed and snuggled closer to Graywing. Graywing wrapped his tail over her and tugged her back to make room for Turtletail. Turtletail hopped into the nest, her back to him, and sat stiffly, watching Owl Eyes and Pebbleheart eat. Graywing eyed her. Please don't be angry, he whispered.
Angry? Angry?
Sparrowfur glanced at her mother.
About what?
Turtletail leaned down and nuzzled Sparrowfur's ear. It's nothing to worry about. Circling around in the heather, she settled beside Greywing. He relaxed as she rested into him, her fur warm against his flank. As Owl Eyes and Pebbleheart finished their meal, she beckoned them into the nest. Come on, you two. They scrambled in and pushed their way between Greywing and Turtletail.
Ow!
Sparrowfur wriggled.
You stood on my tail. You should keep it tucked in,
Owl Eyes retorted. Now, Turtletail chided softly. It's time to go to sleep. Gradually, the kits quieted down. Greywing watched through the darkness as the rest of the moorcats padded to their nests and settled around the clearing until they were as still as stone in the shadows. Turtletail's eyes slowly closed as she drifted into sleep. Greywing felt suddenly weary. What was he going to say to Clear Sky? What if talking made things worse? Tiredness dragged in his paws and he closed his eyes. His thoughts began to swirl toward sleep.
No, don't, please!
Pebbleheart's tiny cry jolted him awake. The kit was struggling in his sleep, kicking out against his littermates, his eyes closed, clearly dreaming. It's okay. Greywing leaned forward and nosed the kit's twitching flanks. It's just a dream. He didn't want Pebbleheart to wake the others. Pebbleheart blinked awake and stared in horror at Greywing, as though he were a badger in the nest. You're safe. Greywing ran his tail softly along the kit's spine. Pebbleheart sat up straight, his fur on end.
So much blood, he breathed. So much. It's not right for kin to fight.
What do you mean? Greywing's breath caught in his throat. Pebbleheart blinked at him blindly.
Kin mustn't fight,
he murmured hazily. Is he even properly awake? Greywing touched his nose to the kit's ear. Pebbleheart flinched. Why was he so scared? Who were the kin? He'd wondered before if Pebbleheart had Stoneteller's powers. The kit had described more than one vivid dream that he'd already learned, and he'd already learned the herbs that Cloudspots used, as though he were born to heal. Could this nightmare have meaning? Greywing remembered his own dream of Stoneteller. The war. But Pebbleheart was trembling, and it seemed cruel to make him dwell on the dream. Greywing pushed away the dark thoughts crowding his mind and scooped the kit closer with one paw, so that he was pressed against his flank. It'll be okay, he promised. He lapped at the kit's pelt with long, soothing strokes until Pebbleheart's eyes began to droop.
Worst bit of the dream,
Pebbleheart murmured as his breathing slowed. It's that you were gone. Hush, Greywing's belly tightened.
Turtletail was gone too. We were alone. Just me and Sparrowfur and Owl Eyes. We're all alone.
It was just a dream, Greywing promised. Let it just be a dream. Stretched his tail around all three kits, his heart aching as he listened to Turtletail's breathing softly beside him. Tail was gone too. We'll always be close, he whispered to Pebbleheart, trying to ignore the dread heavy as a rock in his chest. Must make Clear Sky understand. We cannot risk war, not after coming so far. Is Turtletail and Greywing gonna die? I thought that one of them was gonna die, but if both of them die, then no. Cuckoo. We are nearly on the second hour. Oops. You are correct. Will not spoil it for you. Scary! Chapter 3! Thunder narrowed his eyes against the rising sun as he padded back into camp. He'd left to hunt before dawn, after a fitful night. His new nest had felt strange, its heathers spring sharp. The sense of the moor and the forest had haunted his dreams, and his heart had ached with memories of his father. He brushed past the wall of the camp and crossed the clearing. A mouse dangled from his jaws. Its warm musk made his belly growl. He used to believe that he hunted better in the forest. Now he realized how much he'd missed the wide open spaces and the feel of the wind in his tail fur. Perhaps Clear Sky's territory wasn't home after all. The other cats were out of their nests. Rainswept Flower was tugging stale heather from her nest. Dapplepelt was sorting through the prey pile, tossing out old prey while Jackdaw's Cry sat nearby, washing pollen from Hawk Swoop's ears. Tall Shadow was squeezing out of the gorse den where Cloudspots had led Frost. Jagged Pete rubbed the sleep from his eyes beside the long grass. Thunder blinked. Where were Acorn Fur and Lightning Tail? Had they gone hunting? A pain jabbed his belly. He'd missed the cats he'd grown up with, and he'd been looking forward to catching up with them. Hawkswoop had kidded them soon after Greywing had brought him to live in the moor. They'd shared the same nest and played as kits. Yesterday, he'd felt too dazed, his mind too filled with thoughts of clear sky and the unease of returning to the moor cat's camp to seek out their company. Although he'd glimpsed Acorn Fur and Lightning Tail among the cats, he hadn't felt ready to speak with them, and they hadn't approached him. Getting a flash in my... Oh! Stay protected. Prepare for Windows End. End of support. No, go away. Were they scared he'd changed? He shook out his fur. He was eager to show them he was still the same cat they used to tumble around the clearing with. Thunder scanned the clearing. He caught Jagged Peak's eye. You want to share the mouse? But Jagged Peak dropped his gaze quickly. Thunder's paws prickled. Jackdaw's cry was staring at him. Thunder stared back hopefully, but the tom turned away. Uneasy, Thunder headed for the gorse den. Perhaps Frost would appreciate his moss. He pushed under the low branches. They scraped his spine as he ducked inside. It was cool out of the sun. Frost lay in a dip scooped from the sandy earth and lined with moss. Thunder. The white tom seemed pleased to see him. Thunder stopped beside his nest and dropped the mouse beside it. This is for you. Thanks. Frost purred gratefully. Thunder nudged it closer with a paw. How are you? He's got a fever. Cloudspot's mew surprised him. The black tom was hardly visible in the shadows at the back of the den, but now that he'd spoken, Thunder could make out his white ears, chest, and paws. Thunder blinked at Cloudspots, his eyes adjusting to the gloom. Can you heal his wound? I've been applying policies. Cloudspots padded forward and sniffed Frost's hind leg. They should work eventually. But it's been left to fester a long time. The infection's gone pretty deep. He should have been treated earlier. Frost's eyes rounded with worry. Thunder stared at Cloudspots. Was he accusing him or Clear Sky of negligence? That's not how things work in the forest, he mumbled uncomfortably. I can see that. Cloudspots turned his attention back to Frost. Just be patient, he reassured the injured cat. The polish I put on earlier will be working now, and I asked Acorn for her to bring more herbs back from her hunting trip. I'm gonna be okay, aren't I? Frost asked in a tremulous voice. Cloudspots nudged the mouse closer around his body. You'll be fine. The journey from the forest has taken a toll on you and you need to rest. Small paws scuffed the earth outside the gorse branch, and the gorse branches trembled. Which herbs is Acorn Fur collecting? Pebbleheart patted in. Marigold and Dock, Cloudspots told the young kit.
Good books, hope you enjoyed. Thank you, Fireblaze!
That's a warrior cat name. Are you giving him borage? Pebbleheart asked. For his fever? Thunder was surprised by the young cat's knowledge. He hardly knew the names of any herbs. He had no idea which ones could cure infections. Had Pebbleheart learned all this? I would, but there's not much left on the moor. It's a forest herb, and I can't gather herbs there now. Cloudspots nodded at Frost. The forest cats collect it for wounds? Frost frowned. We don't collect herbs, only prey. Cloudspots blinked. But what if you're injured? We either recover or Clear Sky banishes us, Frost muttered bitterly. He's more interested in moving borders than protecting cats who hunt and fight for him. He glanced at Thunder. Thunder stiffened. Was that reproach in his eyes? I'm not my father. You seem busy, he meowed quickly to Cloudspots. I'll go. He backed out of the gorse, ignoring Pebbleheart's curious stare. Outside, Turtletail was sunning herself beside the tunnel entrance while Owl Eyes clambered over her, mewing happily. Windrunner and Gorsefur were sharing a thrush, laying languidly beside a flat rock. Thunder padded past them, wondering whether to greet them. He glanced towards them, conscious that Windrunner stopped purring as soon as she saw him. His throat tightened. He swallowed back hurt and took a deep breath. I'll prove myself to them. I'll protect them from Clear Sky, from any danger.
Great attack, Sparrowfur!
Jagged Peak's enthusiastic mew jerked him from his thoughts. The lame Tom was urging Sparrowfur on with a wave of his tail. Attack it again! The body of a rabbit, its scent still warm, lay in the clearing. Sparrowfur crouched a badger length away, her short tail flicking. Her eyes were narrowed, focused on the prey. Owl Eyes watched beside Jagged Peak.
Can I have the next turn?
Yes, Jagged Peak's eyes shone. Thunder padded closer. Was he teaching them hunting moves? Sparrowfur shot forward, hissing. She leaped and landed on the rabbit, her small claws sinking deep into its fur. Jabbing her teeth at the back of its limp neck, she growled as she tried to shake it between her jaws. Your aim is great, Jagged Peak enthused. Perhaps you should try attacking me. You'll need to be ready to face an enemy who fights back. Thunder's hackles rose. He was teaching the kids battle moves. What are you doing? He strode towards Jagged Peak. Jagged Peak jerked his gaze towards Thunder, his pelt bristling. What do you mean? Why are you teaching them how to fight? Weren't they trying to avoid battle with Clear Sky? Owl Eyes looked from Jagged Peak to Thunder, blinking with confusion.
What's wrong with that?
Jagged Peak ignored the kit. It's none of your business, Thunder. Thunder flexed his claws. I've lived with the forest cats and moor cats. It is my business. I don't want to see you fight. Sparrowfur leaped off the rabbit.
But we have to learn.
Thunder turned on her. You're too young to fight battles. She backed away, eyes wide. Don't take it out on the kits. Jagged Peak limped past him and stood in front of Sparrowfur. Thunder forced his fur to lie flat. Taking it out on the kits, he growled softly. I just don't think you should be preparing such young cats for a battle that might never come. Jagged Peak glanced at the kits. Go and find Pebbleheart, he ordered. Play with him. Thunder and I want to talk. Owl Eyes frowned.
You want to argue. Don't argue over us,
Sparrowfur pleaded. Thunder dipped his head, softening his gaze. You won't, he promised. Do as Jagged Peak says. Shoulders drooping, she padded away. Owl Eyes followed. I've read all but a couple of the special editions and the comics. Dang. I've only read the series up until Dawn of the Clans. And then maybe like one or two special books, but that's it.
We're gonna read them all, don't worry.
There is a Roblox game about warrior cats. It's really well done. It's mostly like an RP type game. Really, you can like super design your cats though. Thunder turned to Jagged Peak, surprised by the rage burning in the Tom's eyes. He hadn't meant to upset him. I'm sorry I interfered, he mewed slowly. I just don't think we should... Jagged Peak stepped forward, curling his lip. Who cares what you think? I've lived more moons than you. I came from the mountains with your father. Thunder lifted his chin. That doesn't mean you know more than me. I was here when those kids were born, but you left, didn't you? I wanted to live with my father, Thunder objected. What's wrong with that? Jagged Peak didn't seem to hear. Clear Sky didn't want you, did he? Just like he didn't want me. Triumph edged his mew. He kicked you out too. Thunder's claws itched. Clear Sky didn't kick me out, he growled. I left. Fish is turned off. It shouldn't be. Weird.
It's working.
Jagged Peak hesitated, grief flashing in his eyes. You left?
I didn't agree with Clear Sky.
Jagged Peak's gaze dropped suddenly. So Clear Sky didn't make you leave. Thunder shifted his paws impatiently. What did it matter whether he left or been banished?
I came back to help my old friends.
And we're supposed to be grateful? Jagged Peak snorted.
No, I just...
Jagged Peak cut him off.
You wander from the moor to the forest and back again, depending on how you feel. Those kits...
He flicked his muzzle towards Sparrow Fur and Owl Eyes, who had flushed Pebbleheart out from beneath the gorse and were chasing him around the flat rock.
Those kits were born here. They belong here, and if I want to teach them how to defend what's theirs, then they should be allowed to learn.
Thunder scowled at him.
Thanks for making me feel so welcome.
He turned away. It was pointless to argue. Jagged Peak seemed determined to hate him. Thunder padded across the clearing, sadness pressing like a stone in his belly. As he reached the soft grass edging the hollow, he spotted Gorsefur watching him from beside the flat rock, his gaze cold. Thunder's pelt burned. Did no one want him back? Is everything okay, Thunder? Hawksswoop was crossing the clearing towards him, her orange pelt prickling with worry. I saw you arguing with Jagged Peak.
It was nothing.
Thunder touched his muzzle to her cheek as she reached him. He purred. Jagged Peak is a good cat, she assured him. He's just a bit misunderstood. Must be hard relying on others for prey. We mountain cats are used to feeling independent. Her eyes were sympathetic. She broke into a loud purr and pushed her muzzle along his jaw. It's great to have you back. I've missed you so much. I know how desperate Acornfur and Lightning Tail are to share news. She glanced at the gap in the heather. They'll be back soon. At least someone's glad to see me. Hawkswoop's gaze flashed quickly towards Gorsefur. The thin, gray Tom was still watching. Give them time, she soothed. We've seen so much change. I guess some of us have grown wary of it. They'll adjust. Thunder pressed his cheek against hers gratefully, hoping she was right and that he'd be accepted soon. These were good cats. They'd helped to raise him. Perhaps I shouldn't have left, he whispered. A wave of shame washed over his pelt. Had he been disloyal to go with his father? You wanted to be with your kin. Hawkswoop sat back on her haunches. That's the most natural feeling in the world. Thunder felt a purr welling in his throat. Thanks, Hawkswoop. Come on. She stood and headed for the bramble. I've got some spare moss you can have for your nest. As he followed her across the clearing, paw steps thrummed the earth behind him. Stiffening, he began to turn. Before he could see who approached, Paws slammed into his side. With a yelp of surprise, he tumbled to the ground. Pelt spiking, he tried to struggle to his paws. Thunder! Lightning Tail's happy mew sounded above him. Chestnut Fur flashed on the edge of his vision. Acorn Fur was circling him, her thick tail swishing with delight. He leaped up. It's you! He blinked in surprise. You've grown! Acorn Fur and Lightning Tail were adult cats now. Not as big as him, but far bigger than the kits he'd played with before he'd left the moor. He felt a sudden pang as he saw Lightning Tail. He looked like a hunter, his forehead and shoulders broad, not the sort of cat who'd trail after Thunder like a shadow as he'd done as a kit. How are you? He butted Lightning Tail's shoulder with his head. I'm the best stalker in the moor. Lightning Tail's eyes shone with pride. Acorn Fur nodded. He can stalk a hare from the moor top to the gorge without it scenting him. And Acorn Fur can kill snakes. Lightning Tail gazed proudly at his sister. I only killed one. Acorn Fur protested. That's one more than me. Thunder purred, pleased to see that, even though they'd grown, Acorn Fur and Lightning Tail still felt like kin. Acorn Fur's glaze flitted across Thunder's pelt. You look strong. Her eyes flashed admiringly. And sleek. Hi, Tommy. Heat flooded beneath Thunder's fur. Thanks. He glanced self-consciously at his big paws. You look great, too. Her dark chestnut fur was thick and short and shone in the sun, and her squash kit nose had lengthened into a smooth, straight muzzle. Lightning Tail wove around him. So, what's it like in the forest? How was Clear Sky? Are you glad you went to live there? Stop interrogating him! Acorn Fur flashed a stern look at her brother, before softening her gaze for Thunder. You came back because you missed us, didn't you? Thunder blinked at her gratefully. She was sparing him from explaining the real reasons he'd returned. Part of him wanted to share what he'd seen. Clear Sky's deadly fight with Misty, the kittens needlessly made orphans by his father's greed for territory, Frost's heartless banishment. Acornfur's amber gaze darkened. Is everything okay, Thunder? I never want you to see any of the things I've witnessed. Everything's fine, he lied. We're not kids anymore. Lightning Tail must have seen his pelt prickling. You don't have to protect us. But I do. Thunder shook out his fur.
We hear what the other cats are saying about
Clear Sky, Acornfur told him. Lightning Tail leaned in closer. Are we gonna go to battle? Thunder gazed past him, past the heather, across the rising moor. They have to fight? Keep all this? Are we? Acornfur's gaze sharpened. I hope not, he breathed.
Lightning Tail!
Windrunner's mew sounded across the camp. Lightning Tail turned. The rogue she-cat was striding across the clearing, Gorsefur and Jackdaw's Cry at her heels.
You and Acornfur can come and practice battle moves with us.
Battle moves? Lightning Tail stared at her.
We only know how to hunt,
Acornfur chipped in.
Then it's time you learn some fighting skills.
Windrunner stopped at the edge of the clearing while Gorsefur and Jackdaw's Cry took up positions in front of her. Thunder stiffened. It wasn't just Jagged Peak. All the cats were preparing to fight. Did they believe a battle was unavoidable? Lightning Tail padded towards them.
I suppose we could adapt
some hunting moves, he suggested. Acornfur followed.
We could turn a hunting crouch into an attack crouch.
A chill ran along Thunder's spine. This was the sort of things Clear Sky would do, not the moor cats. He scanned the clearing. Where was Greywing? Had he approved this? There was no sign of the Grey Tom. His nest was empty. Allshadow was lying on the flat rock. She was watching the cats, her eyes round with interest. Greywing wouldn't want this. Thunder hurried after Acornfur. Wait, there's no need to practice fighting. Greywing's gonna speak with Clear. Windrunner darted forward and blocked his way.
Did I ask you to join us?
Rude!
Hi, Tommy. I do not have Roblox. The Discord is, you can come in if you're under 18, but most people are older in it anyways, so it's up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with. We don't really talk much in it, though. Apple. Scapple. You joined Discord. Yee. Discord is mostly for, like, notifications when I'm live or announcements of stuff that's happening.
Spirit animal books. I have not heard of the spirit animal books. Are they from Aaron Hunter, or are they, like, a different brand?
Your hair is nice. Thank you!
Jackdaw's Cry and Gorsefur backed away. Acornfur and Lightning Tail turned and gazed uneasily at Thunder. Windrunner was glaring at him challengingly. Thunder halted. I'm just saying you don't need to practice battle moves yet. Windrunner narrowed her eyes and padded slowly towards him, her plump belly swinging. Is she pregnant or something?
You've just arrived. Don't start telling us what to do.
I was only trying to help. Why don't we just forget the fighting, he urged, at least until after Greywings met with Clear Sky. You might find you've got nothing to fight about.
Itty bitty.
Warriors fans are still filtering in, even in this day and age.
Yay!
You look like a Genshin Impact character, in my opinion.
Thanks!
I wish I was.
Your dog ran away 9 days ago. Oh no, I'm so sorry. That sucks.
I hope that he's safe somewhere. Or that he comes back. What was it? I think if you put something that belongs to you outside, it's supposed to help. Like something that belongs to him outside. Something like that. She is pregnant? Oh my god. Her plump belly. Bam. My cat has like huge predominal pouches And when she jogs, they like sway back and forth and back and forth. It's so funny.
Are you using VTuber? I am a VTuber, yeah! Hoopa!
It just flops back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It swings. It's so funny to watch her. Sometimes I think that she's gonna tip over by the gravity.
A Frenchie! Cute.
Love Frenchies. They're so snarfly. Windrunner curled her lip. Are you really that dumb? Anger flashed beneath the Thunder's pelt. It's not dumb to try and avoid battle, he spat. But what do you know? Last time I was here, you were called Plain Wind. Nothing but a rogue with a rogue's name. Windrunner glanced triumphantly over her shoulder at Grossfur. See? He's only come back to cause trouble, just like his father. Leave him alone! Acornfur pushed between them. Why? Windrunner flattened an ear. No one wants him here. Rude! Oh my god, Windrunner, what is your issue? Thunder glanced around at the moorcats. Lightning Tail's eyes were clouded with worry. Acornfur's tail was twitching anxiously. Gorsefur and Jack Dustcry stared at him coldly. Finally, Thunder looked to Tall Shadow. She sat up on the flat rock, her gaze giving nothing away. Windrunner. Hope prickled in Thunder's paws. Was she going to stand up for him? Tall Shadow's eyes were shining. The heck is Shadow's issue? Sorry, I read ahead. I've decided that today is the day to formally welcome you into our camp. You too, Gorsefur. You are one of us now. Thunder swallowed, so Tall Shadow was aligning herself with Windrunner, a rogue who was training on the moorcats to fight. What about Greywing's decision to find a peaceful solution? Had every cat decided that battle couldn't be avoided? Thunder. Turtletail's mew sounded softly in his ears. He spun around. She was gazing at him gently. Follow me. Beckoning him with a flick of her tail, she led him to a patch of warm grass beside the tunnel entrance where she and Greywing made their nest. The moss still smelled of kits. Its warm scent drifted over his muzzle, and he let his hackles fall. I know you're angry, she began. They just want to fight. He glanced back at Windrunner and Gorsefur as their campmates wove around them, murmuring congratulations. Jagged Peak was training the kids. He searched her gaze, waiting to see shock, but she looked back steadily, her pelt unruffled. I know, she admitted, but we're worried. We don't know what Clear Sky will do next, and we want to be ready. Her gaze flicked towards Sparrowfur and Owl Eyes. You know I'd never let them fight, but I want them to be able to defend themselves if they have to. You think Clear Sky will attack Kits? Thunder's breath quickened. How could she believe that? Even Clear Sky wouldn't be that cruel. We'll know more once Greywing's spoken to him. Why can't they wait before they start practicing? Do you really think they should? She leaned closer. Our home is at stake. Thunder narrowed his eyes. Turtletail pressed on. What if Greywing can't persuade Clear Sky to stop expanding his borders? I couldn't. Thunder's belly tightened as he remembered trying to reason with his father. Clear Sky had turned on him. He hadn't even tried to listen. He met Turtletail's gaze. Then they'll have to fight. Turtletail nodded. It's better we're prepared for the worst. Thunder dipped his head. Okay, he conceded grimly. We must prepare for battle, then I'll help. They had to fight. He was going to make sure they knew how to fight properly.
Aww.
The Spirit Animals books are written by Brandon Mull.
You have an Akita? Tommy, we don't really talk about religion in here just because everybody has their own sorts of faith. Yeah!
I said a pic of them both. Where are they? I want to see them.
Let's go on. Look at him winking. Oh, look at your Akita. He's so... I've drawn your Akita, haven't I? I know this guy. I've drawn him. I've drawn this booch. Alright, wait, where's my thing? We're on chapter 4. What time is it now? The chapters in this book are really long. I've noticed that. We're only on chapter 4, but it feels like we've been reading forever. Okay, I'm gonna read one more chapter. Oh, yes, Blackberry, I want to see your dog. I want to see your little Frenchie. Good night, Aldo. Thanks for the narration. Have a good rest of the stream. Thank you, Aldo. I hope you have a good day. I'll see you either tomorrow or Friday, maybe, if you decide to hang out. You live in America? I'm Canadian. I'm from Canada. Chapter 4. Alright, one more chapter, guys. Greywing slid through a gap in the heather, shaking soil from his paws. He blinked as he saw jackdaws cry, shattered ice and dappled pelt heading for the flat rocks where Hawkswoop, Turtletail, and the others had already gathered. What's going on? He pricked his ears. Tall Shadow was standing on the rock, tail high. Only Thunder hung back in the clearing, his gaze dark. Greywing, there you are. Tall Shadow leaped from the rock and padded past the young Tom. I'm making Windrunner and Gorse for part of our group, like we agreed. Pleased, Greywing flicked his tail. It's about time, he purred. They already feel like they belong here. Behind Tall Shadow, he could see Thunder's pelt prickling. Something was wrong. He dipped his head. I'll join you on the rock in a moment. He waited for Tall Shadow to leave, then crossed the sandy earth to Thunder. Is something wrong? It's Thursday. Go to bed, Blackberry! What the heck? It's so late for you. Then crossed the sandy earth to Thunder. Is something wrong? Thunder was frowning. Windrunner wants to teach the kids battle moves. So? Greywing tipped his head, confused. She's a natural leader. I trust her judgment. It's one of the reasons we want her to join us. She knows that we must be prepared. Thunder dropped his gaze. That's what Turtletail said. Then what's the problem? No one seemed to believe we can find a peaceful solution, Thunder muttered. I thought talking to Clear Sky would be enough. Hopefully it will be. Greywing felt a surge of affection for the young cat. He might be clear-sighted about his father's ambitions, but he still had faith enough to believe that all would be well if they could reason with Clear Sky. Life is never so simple, he thought with a pang. I'll do my best, but if it doesn't work, we may have to fight to keep what's ours. Greywing, Tall Shadow called from the far side of the clearing, a few tail lengths from the flat rock. Windrunner paced at her side, while Gorsefur watched anxiously. We must talk. Greywing touched Thunder's cheek with his nose. Join the others. He nodded towards the cats gathering beside the rock. They were murmuring, heads bowed, casting curious glances at Tall Shadow, Windrunner, and Gorsefur. What's the delay? Rainswept Flower called. Tall Shadow's gaze grew more urgent. Greywing! He bounded towards her. Is something wrong? He asked as he stopped at her side. Windrunner and Gorsefur were exchanging nervous glances. They changed their mind about joining the Moorcats? Tall Shadow frowned. Windrunner and Gorsefur are expecting kits. Nice. Kits? Greywing blinked. Joy warmed his pelts. That's great news. Is it? Windrunner moved closer to her mate. Kits will mean extra mouths to feed. She glanced at the Moorcats. Our kits will be safer if they're raised in camp, but it'll be a burden for every cat. She held her chin high. They should know what they're taking on before we join the group. Gorsefur puffed out his chest. We don't want the mountain cats to resent them. Greywing's ears twitched. Why would they? Pebbleheart, Sparrowfur, and Owleyes were always hungry, and they were getting under paw, but no one resented them. New life brings hope and joy. And extra hunting, Windrunner reminded him. Greywing swept his tail towards the distant horizon. There's enough prey out there for all of us.
He suddenly realized that Tall Shadow's gaze was lingering on Windrunner's bulging flank. It's a bad time for kits to be born, the black she-cat muttered. Clear Sky's spoiling for a fight. Windrunner won't be able to join in the battle and we'll have more kits to defend. Greywing met her gaze. If it comes to a battle, more kits will make us fight harder. We'll have more to fight for. Tall Shadow looked unconvinced. We should leave, Windrunner growled. No! Greywing stepped forward. Memory swept him back to Storm's Den. He'd fought through dust and rubble to try and save her and her kits. She tried to raise them alone and it had killed her and 2 of her kits. Only Thunder had survived. It's our duty to help Windrunner and Gorsfer raise their litter, he told Tall Shadow firmly. The black she-cat dipped her head. I guess they have earned their place with us, she conceded. Many times, Greywing nodded to Windrunner. Your kits will be raised as though they are our own. Fear escaped him. Suddenly, he could picture tiny kits hurling across the clearing after Pebbleheart, Sparrowfur, and Owl Eyes. For a moment, all his fears of battle disappeared. These kits would grow up safe in their moorland home. He strode across the clearing, pushing between Jackdaw's Cry and Rainswept Flower, and leaped onto the flat rock. Tall Shadow jumped up beside him. He beckoned Windrunner and Gorsfer forward with a flick of his tail. Hawksoup and Shattered Ice moved to let them pass. Jackdaw's Cry and Rainswept Flower backed away to open a circle for the 2 rogues to stand in. Cloudspot slid out from the gorse where Frost peeked out, his white face half hidden in the shadow. Dapplepelt stepped aside to let the black and white Tom in next to her. Pebbleheart, Sparrowfur, and Owl Eyes lined up beside Turtletail, as neat as owlets on a branch. Jagged Peak stood beside them, eyes shining. Where's Thunder? Greywing's heart lurched as he scanned the cats for the young Tom. He must show support for Windrunner and Gorsfer if he wants to be accepted fully back into the camp. Didn't he realize how much they'd grown to be part of the group while he'd been in the forest with Clear Sky? This was an important moment. It was the first time the mountain cats had formally accepted new cats into their ranks. Every cat had to approve if they were to stay united. Relief flooded him as he spotted Thunder's orange and white pelt, half hidden between Acornfur and Lightning Tail. He caught the young Tom's eyes. Thunder stared back, his gaze unreadable. Tall Shadow began. Wind and Gorse welcomed us to the moor when we first arrived. Purrs rumbled around the circle. They have been loyal allies as we've adjusted from mountain life to moor life, he went on. It is an honor to invite them to make their home with us permanently. Windrunner looked up at the black she-cat, her eyes questioning. Greywing guessed what the expectant queen was thinking. Is Tall Shadow going to mention the kits? He stepped forward. This needed to be spoken now. If there were objections, they must be heard. Windrunner is expecting kits. He gazed around the moor cats. Warmth glowed in Hawksoup's eyes. Jagged Pete purred loudly. Congratulations! Rainswept Flower darted forward and touched noses with Windrunner. Jackdaw's Cry's tail twitched uneasily. Can we feed the extra mouths? Acornfur stared at him. Of course we can! Lightning Tail pricked his ears. Our hunting skills get better every season. Murmurs of agreement rippled around him. What about the cold season comes? What about when the cold season comes? Cloudspot's reasoned. Pray we'll go to the ground. Shattered Ice raised his voice. Then we'll hunt in the tunnels that Windrunner and Gorsfer showed us when we arrived. Tall Shadow stepped to the edge of the rock. Greywing saw the relief in her eyes were shining, all doubt gone. Windrunner and Gorsfer have done so much for us, she called. They have earned prey for their kits, and their kits' kits. Jagged Peak nodded enthusiastically. They rescued me from a collapsed tunnel, he reminded them. When every other cat thought I was dead, Windrunner cleared my nose and throat so I could breathe. When we were kids, Gorsfer taught me and Acornfur how to stalk rabbits, Lightning Tail chimed in. He spent a whole afternoon showing us how to lie flat and still and let the rabbit come to us. Acornfur purred loudly. He was so patient, even when we got bored and started stalking his tail instead. Turtletail stepped forward. Windrunner showed me the best places to hunt after I returned from the two-leg place. Greywing swallowed back a purr. Turtletail had often complained that Windrunner was too bossy, holding her responsible for turning Bumble away from the camp. He was relieved to see that she had accepted the rogue at last. He stiffened as Jackdaw's Cry flicked his tail. Was he still worried there wasn't enough prey to share? We would never have dared explore the tunnels if Windrunner and Gorsefur hadn't showed us how. The Black Tom glanced at them reprovingly. Now we have shelter in the worst of the cold season. And escape routes from dogs, Dapplepelt added. Happily, Greywing kneaded the rock. We are lucky to have such strong, loyal cats join us. He gazed at Windrunner. She stared back unblinkingly. How long before she was the one up here, leading the Moorcats while he and Tall Shadow watched from below? He welcomed the thought. It was tough having to know all the answers. Windrunner seemed to relish the challenge of decision-making far more than he ever would. Tall Shadow's mute jerked his thoughts back to the moment. Wind and Gorse took new names to be like us, and it is with these new names we shall welcome them. She jumped from the rock and touched noses with Windrunner. Welcome, Windrunner. For some reason, I keep on getting, Windwummer. I keep on trying to, ooify it. Greywing felt the expectant gaze of the Moorcats and jumped down beside her. Welcome, Gorsefur. He touched noses with the gray tabby tom. Gorsefur! Windrunner! It's the Chatbox! It's the Chatbox! The Moorcats lifted their voices to the sky as, chanting the names of their new dead mates, they welcomed them warmly. Jagged Peak broke from the circle and hopped around Windrunner, his eyes bright with excitement. Greywing lifted his tail happily. The young cat had always admired the rogue. He must be delighted she'd been made part of the group. Tall Shadow padded to the prey heap. Let us celebrate with the feast. She tossed a mouse towards Gorsefur. We will eat this meal like mountain cats. She carried a thrush to Windrunner and dropped it. Then she bent and took a bite and pushed it towards the brown she-cat. Windrunner dipped her head in thanks and took a bite, then nudged it towards Gorsefur. Hurrying, he tore off a mouthful and passed it to Jagged Peak. Greywing padded to the prey heap, waiting for Shatterdice to take a mouse before grabbing a small rabbit. Joy flooded beneath his pelt. The Moorcats settled and shared prey, mewing contently. We are one. The thought sent hope surging through him. Whatever happened when he visited Clear Sky's camp, the Moorcats would survive. They were united, and together they could weather any storm. He glanced at Windrunner, chewing contently as she lay between Tall Shadow and Gorsefur. With her on our side, we'll be strong for a long time. A soft murmuring woke Greywing out of a light sleep. He blinked open his eyes and peered over the edge of his nest. He could see no one, but soft mews sounded beside the tunnel's entrance. Can't talk here. He recognized Rainswept Flower's anxious voice. Well, wake Greywing. I'm outside. Jagged Peak? What were the two cats up to? Greywing lifted his head, unease moving in his belly, and watched them move like shadows across the camp and slid through the gap in the heather. Slowly, he untangled himself from the kits and tipped them towards Turtletail.
Greywing?
Pebbleheart mewed sleepily, his eyes closed. I'll be back in a moment, he whispered. He hopped from his nest and padded noiselessly around the edge of the clearing, keeping to the shadows until he reached the gap in the heather. He halted and pricked his ears. Rainswept Flower and Jagged Peak were talking beyond the thick wall. We've got to make Clear Sky see reason, Rainswept Flower hissed. Talking to him won't work, Jagged Peak whispered. Greywing still thinks of him as the brother he knew in the mountains, but Clear Sky's changed. I've seen how heartless he's become. Bitterness hardened the young Tom's mew. Greywing swallowed back a sigh. Would Jagged Peak never forgive their brother for sending him away? I mean, I wouldn't. Jagged Peak went on. If Greywing turns up in Clear Sky's camp and challenges his authority, it'll just make things worse. Clear Sky will be furious. I don't think Greywing understands the danger he is putting himself in. The danger he is putting all of us in, Rainswept Flower added. The angrier Clear Sky is, the more dangerous he'll become. Greywing stiffened. Why hadn't they come to him to share these worries? Did he step from the shadows and confront them? No. He had to hear what they truly thought, not what they guessed he wanted to hear. He leaned deeper into the heather. Greywing's the last cat who should try to talk with Clear Sky, Jagged Peak fretted. So much has happened between them. Clear Sky will never see past his anger. But we have to do something, Rainswept Flower argued, or Clear Sky will keep taking territory until there's nothing left. Clear Sky needs to speak to a cat who can remind him who he used to be, Jagged Peak murmured. Someone who can show him how much he's changed. And what he's become. Someone like you? Rainsoap Flower suggested hopefully. No. Jagged Peak answered sharply. I'm lame now. Clear Sky thinks I'm no better than prey. And who? Greywing held his breath. Why don't they trust me? How can I change Clear Sky's mind? Jagged Peak's hushed mew sounded through the heather. What about you? Rainswept Flower gasped. Me? Clear Sky's always respected you. Jagged Peak pressed. You've known each other all your lives, but you've hardly spoken since he's changed. Talking to you might remind him of his old self. He paused for a moment, then added, You were a friend of Brightstream. Grief stabbed Greywing's heart at the name Brightstream. Brightstream had been Clear Sky's first love. She'd been carrying Clear Sky's kits when she died. Memories flooded Greywing so powerfully that he could hardly breathe. Guilt seared his pelt. She had been killed by an eagle while she'd been hunting with him in Clear Sky. Between them, he'd let her die. They'd let her die. That's not true. What do you mean? Clear Sky had been killed by an eagle while she'd been hunting with him? No, they were trying to get away from something. Clear Sky technically wasn't even them. Between them, they'd let her die. It was technically only him with her. The heck? I don't know, Jagged Peak. Rainswept Flower sounded doubtful. I don't think he'll care what I have to say. It was a skill issue, honestly. It was.
Hola! Hello, Leo!
I'll think about it, Rainswept Flower conceded. Their paw steps brushed the grass. Greywing pressed himself into the heather until shadow swallowed him. Holding his breath, he stood like a stone while Jagged Peak and Rainswept Flower padded into camp. He waited until they'd settled in their nests, then waited some more. His thoughts whirled. Was Jagged Peak right? Had too much happened between him and Clear Sky for words to make any difference? No, we're brothers. Nothing can change that. Surely everything they'd been through must bind them tighter, not push them apart. Greywing slid from the heather. Jagged Peak was wrong. Clear Sky will listen to me. I don't know, he hasn't showed to be listening to you so far, dude.
Hello, hello, hello. Hola, hola, hola.
Alright.
I'm gonna end now, a half an hour before I usually end, just so I can rest my voice a little, because my allergies are being quite mean to me. I know! Oh, man. But it was a good spot to stop. We're at chapter 5, and this PDF that I found with the book, if I press on the chapter button, it takes me there. So useful. Instead of having to, like, scroll through. Allergies. I know, allergies. And I found a keyboard that I really want, but it's expensive, so I have to wait until I can afford it. I wish that my Twitch money came through so then I could use it to make a nice keyboard. It's so cute. It's called a foundation keyboard. Maybe I should watch more videos about it. I want the what keyboard? I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. Why not get a really cute one? Or, like, a hardcore one? Ooh. Is that some Genshin thing? Is it? Wu Tao. I thought that was... Oh! Oh my god, wait, I know her. I love her. She has a cute ghost. I thought you were talking about the Huck Tuao thing. Today was fun. Thanks, Nono. Thanks, chat. Thanks, Caddy. I do know her. Wu Tao keyboard. Oh, it is pretty cute. Oh my god, it's expensive. Is it hot swappable at least? Oh. Keycaps are swappable. Thanks for streaming. Giveaway workout Wednesday next week. Yay!
I wonder if someone's gonna die soon, and that's why Ben's so excited. 55. Ben's like perched, waiting patiently, like, come on, come on, come on.
Thanks for stream. Rest well. Rest well, everyone. I am going to...
I'll just end for now. This is the book where things happened.
Bye-bye. Tomorrow,
If I have energy, we'll stream. But on Friday, for sure, we'll stream, Legend of Zelda. We have... What were we doing?
oh yeah, we're about to fight, like, or we're gonna take on the giant elephant guy. Fish husband, yes.
We're with the fish husband. We're about to like... Oh my god, Phil, why do you have a cute little Elden Ring hat?
Ew.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.